We've decided to make this video about a recent post that I made 2 nights ago where I rescued a lamb from murder. So we've just been driving, witnessing a lot of animal cruelty in the sheep industry, and we were literally about to head on our way home and I spotted this little girl out by herself. Literally. And I've received a lot of backlash from this video. I posted it 2 nights ago and I woke up in the morning and there were over 1,000 comments on it. That we're still calling her she when she's a he. And it's just astounding that I'm receiving this backlash when non-vegans are the ones that put me in this situation in the first place. You know, they don't understand how heartbreaking it is having to take a baby away from his mother, but for his own benefit.
We're misgendering Angel.
I don't know if it's just ignorance, but it's likely a deflection. It's most likely a deflection because of their guilt, because they're there because of them, meaning the lambs are there because of them.
Tash Peterson is a total fraud. And I know some of you probably already knew that. I mean, I've been kind of thinking it for a while just with how backwards some of her logic is. But she's a fraud and she doesn't even know it. That's the interesting thing about it, really. It's not like some people think that she just, you know, fakes what she does for purely for attention and for money and clout and all that. But the truth is that she may not really care about the animals on a deep level like she pretends, but she definitely does want to try to control what other people think and what they do, and she definitely does believe in veganism and converting everybody else to being vegan. It's kind of like how PETA, you know, claims to be about animal rights and liberation, but at the same time they'll kill your pet at the drop of a hat. In addition to that, they take in shelter animals that, you know, people bring to them, and they euthanize the vast majority of them, yet they still claim that they're an animal rights corporation, that they're saving animals. Because in their twisted, delusional minds, killing animals and stopping them from being pets is liberating them from slavery. So yes, they have a belief that they hold on to, and people like Tash actually support the actions of people like PETA. So they're not frauds in the way that they're completely lying about what they're saying and they don't live by it themselves. No, they do. They're a fraud in the sense that they just don't actually give a shit about the animals and saving them from genuine mistreatment. They're trying to push their very own specific agenda, which is honestly contrary to what they should be doing. And I'm gonna give you guys the greatest example of that I have seen so far. Now, this video is about 2 years old, but this is the first I've seen of it. People in my comments were telling me all about it, and once I heard about that, I was like, okay, well, I need to see it for myself. And apparently, she kidnapped a baby lamb, and she tried to claim that the mother wasn't around, that the lamb was asking for help, that, you know, she's some kind of like superwoman, right? That she really liberated and rescued this lamb. Well, what you'll find out shortly is she even confesses that there were other lambs nearby and the mother was like trying to stop her from taking her baby, in which she admits to taking the lamb from her mother. So it's really ironic because what they preach is that you shouldn't take animals away from their moms, from, you know, their families, whatever. Like, that's wrong. You gotta leave animals the fuck alone, as I say, but she is caught red-handed doing the exact opposite.
It's okay, darling. It's okay, darling. It's okay. Darling, little baby. Is that yourself? Yeah. Here you go, darling. Here you go.
So we've just been driving, witnessing a lot of animal cruelty in the sheep industry, and we were literally about to head on our way home and I spotted this little girl out by herself. No mother in sight, just out by herself.
She's lying to you. You can actually legitimately see plenty of other lambs and sheep or whatever right behind this one. And they try to blur it so you don't see that. But there's literally like tons of them. She literally just walked up and just kidnapped this little baby from her family. And now she's acting like some kind of fucking hero.
Currently 9 degrees outside and she was out in the rain.
9 degrees Celsius, by the way, which is roughly 48 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not too cold for a wild fucking sheep or lamb.
I could see her just kind of curling herself over and crying for her mother, and that's when I knew I had to get out of the car and get her. She tried to run away for a bit, obviously. She's got a stranger running at her, and then she slipped over and I managed to grab her, and now we've got her warm. But yeah, we're just a bit worried about her health right now. It's not okay for a baby to be out in the cold by herself. She's only been bred into existence for someone to consume her flesh. It shouldn't be this way.
Nope, stop right there. You said it. You said the real reason you stole that lamb, because you're like, oh, they shouldn't have been bred into existence and they shouldn't be used for human commodities or whatever. You know, in your words, basically. You were like, I don't want this particular lamb to be a part of this farmer's business, effectively, so I'm going to take it. That was the only reason you took it, and now you're lying and making up a bunch of bullshit to try to justify theft, to justify taking that lamb away from its mother, which is crazy, because this is the kind of thing you guys complain about people doing, taking the babies away from their moms and whatever. You just did that. This farm was actually, whoever owns this farm or whatever, was actually allowing these animals to roam freely and for their mothers to care for their young as they should, as natural as can be, and you decided to disrupt that and actually put this lamb in an unnatural environment and take it away from its natural resources. What the fuck is wrong with you? Now, at this point, they've stolen the lamb. Now they're acting like they're some kind of heroes and they're babying it and they're calling it darling and all of this, and they're really acting like they did something positive. When in hindsight, all they did was take a baby away from its mother. Now, you'll see that there's a response to this later, and in that response, they just kind of deflect and they just blame non-vegans for everything, and they take pretty much no accountability for their wrongdoings, but we'll get to that. We're going to talk about this for the time being. So they even feed the baby milk, but I'm quite certain it's some kind of vegan milk, so it's not actually milk. Some people said that it was soy milk. I wasn't able to validate that. I was not able to find proof of that. But if it was soy milk, like, honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised, but that is serious shame on Todd.
Oh my god. Oh my god, she loves it.
I love that we're still calling her she when she's a he.
We're misgendering Angel.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, she has a penis.
He loves it. Oh, listen to that sound.
This is despicable. This is deplorable, shameful behavior. Like, they shouldn't even be able to sleep at night knowing how shitty they are. Like, going around parading themselves, masquerading as some sort of animal rights people, right? Some activists. And when in reality, all they do is cry, bitch, and moan about things that will never even help animals. And then when they actually go out there and do something, it's not even for the benefit of the animal, it's for the benefit of themselves, so they can pat themselves on the fucking ass cheek and be like, wow, we did something today. We liberated a lamb today. We did that, guys. We're like the Scooby Gang. We're saving people and animals 24/7. Like, it's so sad. It's pathetic. And I was so bothered watching this, because you knew in their delusional minds they really thought that they did something good. And Tash's justification for this is just as sad as the action itself, which we'll get to now.
We've decided to make this video about a recent post that I made 2 nights ago, where I rescued a lamb from murder, literally, and I've received a lot of backlash from this video. I posted it 2 nights ago and I woke up in the morning and there were over 1,000 comments on it. So I think it's up to over 2,000 now, with a lot of traction, and a lot of it is backlash, essentially.
I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, this little segment is filled with nothing but absolute cope and deflection. So they start this off strong by saying, oh, we rescued the lamb from literal murder. No, you didn't. No, you literally didn't. Again, do you not know what the definition of murder is? It is the wrongful killing of a human from another. That is murder. The lamb, even if they were raised for slaughter, which you don't even know if they are or not, they could be just for their wool or whatever, which, you know, maybe they'll still end up as lamb chops, possibly too. I really don't know. But either way, you don't either. So you don't even know if you rescued them from that potential fate. But either way, that lamb wasn't yours to rescue. And this is where they start putting all the blame on non-vegans. They keep using the term non-vegans, even though I guarantee you there's a vast amount of vegans probably in this comment section right now watching this and thinking you're a disgusting piece of shit, Tash Peterson. What you did is wrong. You did not liberate this animal. You kidnapped it from a farm and took it away from its mother.
A lot of non-vegans were commenting on your post, and they were saying things like, how could you steal this lamb? That's theft. They were tagging the police. They definitely weren't happy about you doing what you did. And that's not acknowledging that if you are purchasing and consuming from these animal exploitation industries, this is the thing that you're funding. You're funding these lambs to be murdered. They're going to be abused. They're there in the first place because of you. So it's really hypocritical, and I think that's what we want to talk about today.
The irony in these comments is just astounding. I mean, as you said, people every moment of their daily lives are contributing to the meat, dairy and egg industries and other industries that abuse animals, who literally kidnap babies from their mothers every moment of the day to send them to murder houses to have their throats slit. So these people are funding farmers to take babies from their mothers. For example, in the dairy industry, babies are often immediately taken away from their mothers so the mother's breast milk can be sold for human food consumption.
Bruh, this is painful to watch. This amount of deflection and cope is actually physically painful to listen to. Like, I am suffering here. You guys probably are. I am really going through it right now. I mean, this isn't what this is about. This is what they always do, and it's so annoying. Like, you aren't even addressing the question. You're literally just pointing the finger back at the person asking the question, like, well, you pay for the exploitation. You're the reason that these animals are there, and blah, 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 blah. Like, they're asking you about justifying stealing an animal from a farmer, from a farm, from its mother, and your response to that is, well, you pay for blood and murder, you're a piece of shit. That's my response. What are you gonna do about it, huh? It's so weak, and it's embarrassing because it just shows how clearly, like, they have no justification. They have no real justification at all. What they did is criminal, and they should have gone to jail for this. Like, they absolutely should have spent some time behind bars for this kidnapping. That's especially if they believe that animals are people, that they're people just like us. We're all people. The lamb is a person. They believe that. So you just kidnapped a person from their mother. Isn't that an offense that could get you thrown in jail for many, many, many years? Maybe something to think about, Tash. Maybe it's about time that y'all start addressing this hypocrisy and maybe actually learn something from it for once. This is why I don't feel that bad that Tash is being, like, bullied at her own home, because she's done it to herself. She's committed so many crimes and offenses, and yeah, she's been fined over $500,000. She's been bankrupt. She's had her passports taken away, but she hasn't served any prison time, even for her tax evasion, where she made $400,000 in a single year and only reported $70,000, and also of that $400K, only donate $100 to animal welfare, well-beings, sanctuaries, or whatever, you know, whatever that ended up fitting into. Only $100. She needs to be behind bars. The Australian police here, I'm starting to think you guys are some jokes, man. Like, what is going on? How is this woman allowed to just roam free when she commits more crimes than Johnny Somali?
And it's just astounding that I'm receiving this backlash when non-vegans are the ones that put me in this situation in the first place. You know, they don't understand how heartbreaking it is having to take a baby away from his mother, but for his own benefit and well-being.
Why do you think it is that non-vegans are bringing this up? Do you reckon there's some honesty behind what they're feeling when they see the lamb being taken away from their mother?
Yeah, I mean, most people are inherently against animal cruelty, so when they see someone taking a baby away from their mother, they're going to call out cruelty, but they don't realize that they are the ones that are profiting the most horrific animal cruelty that exists on this planet. So I get it, but I think it's just another deflection to try and attack an animal rights activist because they know deep down they're the ones that put me in that situation and put that poor little lamb in that situation.
Yes, most, if not all people are against animal abuse and cruelty and exploitation. So when they see it happening and when it's exposed to them via activists, investigators, whoever it may be, they do feel guilty and they want to point the finger and say that, well, you're the one that's wrong, pointing at you, saying that, well, you shouldn't be doing that. Why are you doing that? I don't know if it's just ignorance, but it's likely a deflection. It's most likely a deflection because of their guilt, because they're there because of them, meaning the lambs are there because of them.
Right. Again, instead of properly addressing the deserved criticism, they're once again just blaming people that eat meat, saying it's our fault, saying we're the reason that the lambs are there in the first place, that we feel guilty, so we're coming at the vegan activists, we're attacking them because of our own guilt, and it's all deflection from us, which is weird because it's really the opposite. You are the one with the deflections. You are the ones that can't accept reality for what it is. Now, I know not everybody is super knowledgeable about what goes on in the animal and meat industries and stuff like that, but there's a good amount of people that are and still choose to eat meat because it's necessary. Your diet, incomplete, without supplementation, means it ain't a very good diet. It's not what humans were meant to eat. And I won't go into the weeds of why a vegan diet doesn't work for everyone, works for some people, doesn't work for everyone, but that's just the truth of the matter. Now, she goes on afterwards to talk about how lambs' tails are docked, which is true, but she doesn't explain the purpose behind it. She just tries to make it seem like the most horrific, evil thing ever, when the truth is it's for their own good, it's for their own benefit, because flies tend to lay eggs and stuff like that inside of their tails, parasites, things like that infect them and invade them, cause them lots of pain and discomfort. Yeah, it's not exactly the greatest practice in the world, but it is for their benefit. At the end of the day, these animals, humans have domesticated over hundreds of thousands of years and have made it so that they're essential parts of our lives and well-beings. And that's just the reality that we live in. You can either choose to live in it or you can just continue to cry, bitch, and moan for the rest of yours.